In life, you'll meet people who don't come to understand you. They come to disarm you. They don't argue directly, they question strategically. Their words may sound innocent, but their intent is dangerous. Liars are skilled actors and manipulation is their stage. They don't always shout, threaten, or argue. No, they use calm voices, gentle smiles, and carefully chosen questions to make you reveal what they want to use against you. And if you don't recognize their game early, you'll find yourself explaining, defending, and doubting, all while they pull the strings in silence. Liars use curiosity as a weapon because they understand that the human mind is wired to respond when questioned. When someone asks you something, your instinct is to explain, to justify, to clear the air. It feels harmless, even polite, to answer. But that is where the trap begins. A manipulator knows this. They know that the moment they plant a question in your mind, they gain access not to your thoughts, but to your emotions. They study your reactions, the hesitation in your tone, the flicker in your eyes, the way you shift when the truth gets close. They don't care about the answer. They care about the information your answer reveals. Curiosity in the hands of a liar isn't a tool for learning. It's a tool for control. They'll pretend to be genuinely interested in your feelings, your plans, your fears, or your past, but what they're really doing is mapping out your weaknesses. Every detail you share becomes ammunition for later. They'll ask questions that sound thoughtful, even compassionate. Are you okay? What's wrong? You can tell me, right? They appear as a listener, as a confidant, but what they're truly doing is collecting data they can use to manipulate you later. Because once they know what moves you, they can start controlling how you move. The liar's curiosity often disguises itself as concern. They study you under the illusion of care. They ask what makes you happy, not to bring you joy, but to later question it. They ask what hurts you, not to heal it, but to press it when you least expect. They probe gently, softly, until you open the door wide enough for them to step into your mind. And once they're in, they don't just listen. They analyze, they calculate, and they wait for the perfect moment to use what you gave them in confidence against you. Curiosity becomes their silent weapon because it doesn't look like aggression. It looks like empathy. They'll often start with innocent curiosity. Why did you do that? Who told you that? What really happened? They want you to keep talking, to fill the silence, to justify your choices. Because the more you talk, the more they learn, and when you finally say something they can twist, they will. A liar never wastes words. Every conversation to them is a strategy meeting. Every question is a way to test your boundaries, to see how much you'll reveal, how far they can push before you notice what they're doing. Curiosity is their camouflage. It makes them look harmless while they're silently taking control. True curiosity builds understanding, but false curiosity builds control. Liars know this difference and use it skillfully. They will mirror your emotions, nod when you speak, agree with your opinions, just to make you comfortable enough to share more. You think you're building trust, but they're building leverage. They'll store your words like arrows, ready to pull them out when they need to discredit you, guilt you, or shift blame. The more you talk, the stronger they become. That's why manipulators don't argue directly. They ask questions that make you do the talking for them. They want you to explain your point of view so they can later distort it in their favor. They use curiosity to blur your clarity. They make you second-guess yourself, replay conversations in your head, and wonder whether you were too harsh or too sensitive. They don't need to tell you you're wrong. They just ask enough questions until you start thinking it yourself. They know how to plant doubt like a seed. One subtle question, asked with the right tone, can shift your whole perception of truth. And once that doubt takes root, they don't need to push harder. You'll start unraveling yourself from the inside. When a liar uses curiosity, they're not chasing truth. They're testing power. Every why, every ho is a probe into your emotional armor. They're looking for cracks, for insecurities, for the places you feel small. That's why manipulators often seem so attentive in the beginning. They listen more than they speak. But their silence isn't respect, it's strategy. They're gathering material, studying your emotional blueprint. Then when conflict arises, they weaponize your own words, turning your openness into vulnerability. What once felt like connection becomes exposure. The most dangerous part is that their curiosity feels comforting. It feels like someone finally cares enough to ask. That's why so many people fall for it, because genuine curiosity is rare, and liars know how to imitate it perfectly. They create the illusion of emotional safety, And by the time you realize it was a trap, they've already gathered everything they need. You end up feeling drained, confused, and uncertain about who to trust, because the same curiosity that drew you in is the same weapon